Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my review for this month's release of the Walking Dead comic book series. This is a big one. This is for issue 174. It's called A Solitary Life. And spoiler warning, pretty big spoiler warning if you guys haven't read this issue yet. Not because there's any major character deaths in the issue, but because it's a huge issue. It's actually what I would say might be the best issue I've read for Walking Dead in years. Since pretty much, well, you know, is it better than every issue in Whisper War? It's kind of hard to say. It depends on what you like. Personally, I thought it was. Now, what it is basically this is A Solitary Life. We have the cover, which is Negan, who is, you know, all by himself. And you guys know Negan's one of my favorite characters. But this one is an absolutely critical piece of the Walking Dead puzzle, I think, that hasn't been kind of addressed and has kind of been lingering in the background. Finally, we get to see a confrontation for what happened in the Walking Dead issue 100, or in the TV series equivalent season 7 premiere. You know, the day will come when you won't be. So this issue is the confrontation between Maggie and Negan, as Negan is in basically solitary. So Rick has let him go. He's gone back to his you know, local neighborhood, to where he used to live before the zombie apocalypse, to, I suppose, just kind of think and, you know, live and kind of maybe reinvent himself or change. So he's gone back to bury Lucille, his wife. If you haven't read Here's Negan, you know, you should definitely check that out, because, or I did reviews for it where I explain everything in it, so you can kind of understand. So he kind of goes back there. He's living on his own. He's, you know, getting what he can, whatever food. He's planting flowers, and even planting flowers is fun. You know, he's swearing at sunflowers. He's saying they're gorgeous, and he's telling the grass "F you" and stuff. So you got the usual silliness of Negan in there, and then you got some, you know, emotional stuff as well too, which was really fantastic. You have him talking to his wife, you know, daily, same time tomorrow type of deal, where he's kind of going to her grave. He's planting a sunflower. He's just surviving. He's just getting by, and he's really regretting and thinking about the things that he did, and that he tells her that he thinks about her every day. Her, you know, where her body is located, her grave. And then pretty much halfway through, so it's pretty funny, he kills the dog and that kind of stuff in order to eat. Didn't even taste good. And then, so then he stumbles across a bat. So this is when things really start getting good in this issue, I feel like. So he's looking for food. He stumbles across a bat that is like a Louisville Slugger, very close to what he used to use for his Lucille. And then he starts to kind of slip a bit, and, you know, we kind of get the hint that, is he going to go back to what he was? Is he going to go back to right here, where he's got, you know, he's got the bat and wrapped in barbed wire, and he's bashing people's heads in, and he's psychopathic and the whole bit, psychopathic killer. Is he going to kind of go back to that, or is he going to be able to kind of reinvent himself? And it isn't right up until the last page of the issue when I think we can say 100%. Well, we'll get there. Which one it is? So out of nowhere, he's on his own. He's just kind of living there. He's got the bat. He finds some barbed wire. He's like, you know, he's wrapping it around the barbed wire. So he's going into like this ritual of, it seems like, kind of re-becoming, slipping back into the same, you know, type of character that he was, you know, when he was leading the Saviors, and you know, he was enjoying bashing people's heads and stuff, which is really great. Now here's when it gets really good. He's kind of, you know, he's sitting inside, he's wrapping the barbed wire, he's kind of talking to himself, and Maggie kicks the door open. So Maggie found out where he was. Dantae was able to track him, and she goes there herself. Now this is the best confrontation, I think, in terms of drama that we have seen without Rick involved in probably the entire series. You know, this is something where, if you guys remember, like 18 Miles Out, where you see Shane and Rick, and you see that confrontation in the TV series, as well as that was done, this is probably the best drama in The Walking Dead that we have had outside of Rick the entire series. I mean, this is something that was built up issue 100, so that's 74 issues ago. You know, which 12 issues a year, sometimes they do some more, years and years ago. And finally we get to see them confront each other. So here's what happens, and it's amazing. So you have Maggie, who pretty much at this point, she's debating whether or not to kill Negan. She's debating whether or not she just wants to kill him. Rick has kind of forbid her from doing so, knowing that it won't bring Glenn back, but she tracks Negan down anyway, and she goes at him with a gun, and Negan does have the bat, but Negan in this case refuses to fight back. He pretty much tells her that he's had a lot of time. He's got had the luxury to be able to regret the things that he's done, including what happened with Glenn. And she's not even sure that he knows who she is, and he says, of course that he does, and he uses her name and everything. And you got Dantae, who's there as well too, who's waiting outside. So it's pretty exciting because you really don't know what's going to happen. Is Negan going to slip back into that Lucille mode and somehow try to maybe make a quick motion and try to bash her or something, hit her with a bat or something, or get the gun away from her? He doesn't. He doesn't try any of that. So again, it's kind of a tug of war in Negan to kind of see in this issue which way he's going to go here. So he decides that he's not going to fight back against her, and he's going to allow her to kill him if she wants to. So she holds the gun to his head. He's pretty much begging her to do that. And what he says is, if Glenn was your Lucille, that's a pain I'm all too familiar with. So Maggie's saying that all she sees when she thinks about Glenn is the horrific end. So even though, they had a lot of great times earlier, surviving in the zombie apocalypse and that kind of stuff, being together, and they were in love and all that kind of thing, married and all that, all she can remember when she thinks about him, and that's actually something in the brain that happens a lot, is that whenever you recall memories, a lot of times the mind has, it goes to negativity sometimes. So sometimes the memories that stick out most, and they've done science on this, I believe, it's like 4 times, from what I read, 4 times as they stick out 4 times as much when it comes to negative memories versus positive ones. This is why people can really fall into to negativity and kind of feel negative about things when they recall things. A lot of times they skip, a lot of the positive things and they think just about the negativity. Well, for her, I mean, seeing Glenn in agony like that with his eye popping out and his brain smashed is brutal, right? So that's all she can picture. That's all she can think about. So then he is accepting. He says, okay, well then you can kill me, and she puts the gun to his head and everything like that. So very exciting moment to find out what's going to happen here. Is Maggie going to kill Negan? Is Negan's time done or not? Negan's crying that whole thing, and because he realizes what he had done at that time, and even though it seemed normal for him to be doing this to keep everybody in line, he definitely regrets creating other people's Lucille's, so to speak, for in the same way that his was when he lost his wife. So it's fantastic. It's really, really fantastic, and especially since we've had so many issues where you have like the war, you have the battle, you have all these new characters, but this was just something that we never got to see kind of closed up, and I'm really glad that we got to see it in this issue. And so then she decides that she's not going to kill him. She can see that he really does want her to kill him. He wants that to kind of be over and for his life to be over and just kind of be released, so to speak, because he feels so bad after being confronted by her for what he did, and having time to think and realize what he had done before, and that he's done maybe even worse than what happened. Well, yeah, far worse than what happened to him to her. She's able to kind of decide not to kill him, and she pulls the gun away, even though he kind of wants her to, and she leaves him with the burden to live with all the regrets that he's had. So it brings on an interesting question, which is something that's been debated for a long time, of course, in real life, which is if you look at capital punishment versus you look at allowing someone. So what do you do in certain states? For example, in the states you still have the death penalty. What do you do with somebody who, let's say, is a serial killer or kills many, many people? Negan has probably killed many, many people to keep the saviors in line. So do you give them life and allow them to kind of sit in a cell all the way through and just kind of regret the things they've done? Is that more painful, or is it more painful to sentence them to death and have them be killed? So these are tough questions, right? And even like if you look at the United States, even there are some states that definitely are totally against the death penalty, don't have it, and there's other ones that still do at this point. So it's definitely an interesting topic, even in real life. And I just really loved the decision here, because really, I mean, it's excellent. We get to see Negan, but he's reinventing himself, and it isn't until the last page where we find out that he was sincere in what he's saying, because we see him with the fire, we see him with the new bat Lucille that he has formed, and he basically You see him in front of it on one page, and it looks like he could be either throwing it in or he could be re-becoming the same Negan that he was before. So what we see is that no, he's not slipping, he's not backsliding, Simon, right? So he is actually throwing the bat in the fire, allowing it to burn, happy that he's kind of, you know, going to be reinventing himself, I suppose. He's not going to go back to the same Negan that he was, and sort of happy that that Maggie has, I suppose, given him, not forgiveness, that's for sure. She has not forgiven him, but she has not, you know, killed him either. So maybe makes him feel a little bit better that that she decided not to do that. So in terms of score for this issue, I couldn't give it anything but a perfect 10. I mean, I think this is an issue that has been a long time coming, and it brings to question, what does The Walking Dead do best? Does it do the horror best? Does it do action best? Or does it do drama best when you have characters killing each other, ramifications of that, decisions, great character development, and over long seasons or long you know, a lot of issues. And so, yeah, this is one of my favorite issues of The Walking Dead, maybe ever. You know, I think it is, just because that confrontation was just so long in coming. I actually thought it was so long that to actually get to see the 74 issues, you know, is like if you do 12 issues a year, which they've done more than that, but still, you know, 12 issues a year, 74, like, you know, 6, you know, almost 7, and then there was some 16. So, like, what, like 5 or 6? I have to look at the release dates, but it's probably been like 5 or 6 years since issue 100 release. Or maybe, well, maybe a little less than that, because they were doing bi-weekly releases for quite a while there. But it's been a long time coming, and it was an amazing issue to read. And yeah, I think that is actually, maybe this is actually what The Walking Dead does best after seeing an issue like this. So I love this issue. This was a very important issue, I feel like, for, you know, fans of Maggie, Glenn, Negan, and, you know, eventually to see it adapted in the TV series will be great. I really hope they get there, because it was really just an incredible read. And, you know, with a comic, you have to kind of fill in the blanks with your imagination and kind of, you know, see it a little bit, but it was amazing. It was really an amazing issue. So if you guys haven't checked out the issue yet, if you haven't read it yet, definitely still read it, because you got to interpret it for yourself. You got to see it for yourself and kind of see how you're feeling. I mean, we were all there to see the season 7 premiere. The ratings show that we all you know what happens in issue 100. You know, the something to fear. So got to read this one too. You know, to cap it off. This is I guess a final cap off for that part of Negan's life, for that story, and for Maggie as well too. Oh, and I almost left out that she kisses Dantae after, to kind of, so you see a lot of progression for them. They're kind of putting away the old, and they're getting started with something new. So, and people may like that, maybe they hate it, maybe they don't like it, because, you know, and they as readers maybe, or they as viewers, might not be able to move on past what happened before. So you can see, even in yourself as you're reading and as you're thinking, are you able to move past what happened before? Or are you kind of, yeah. So that's a great issue. That's a great issue. That's a perfect issue, man. So I'm really glad that this one was, we got to this one, you know, and let me know what you guys thought about it. Write your comments below. Let me know how you're feeling and what your favorite parts were. How, do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you hate the fact that she's given him a chance? Do you hate the fact that she's changed too? And she's, you know, kind of, I guess, moving on or something of the sort like this. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, and kind of the changes for Negan as well, too. And him sort of being reborn anew, putting the bat in the fire. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, please don't forget to thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it, and you can do it. You can subscribe at the bottom. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev. I'm saying peace. I'll see you guys soon. Well, I hope you're wearing your subscribing pants. What? Your subscribing pants. Because you're going to subscribe to this channel wearing those pants.